Justice Amy Coney Barrett versus Mike Johnson, the Speaker's abortion texts leak the congressional conspiracy. The Supreme Court's Great Hall had never felt so claustrophobic, so suffocating in its grandeur, as if the very walls, those towering marble columns veined with the subtle cracks of 2 centuries, were leaning in to witness the spectacle unfolding within their embrace. It was August 22, 2025, precisely 2:47 p.m. EST, and the chamber, designed to hold 400 souls in solemn contemplation, was transformed into a cauldron of human passion, a colosseum where the gladiators of law and morality clashed under the unblinking gaze of history. The air was thick, almost viscous, laced with the mingled scents of fresh-brewed coffee wafting from the justices' private mugs, the sharp, metallic tang of nervous sweat from the spectators packed shoulder to shoulder, and the faint, underlying aroma of desperation that always seemed to cling to high-stakes legal battles like this one. The temperature had crept up to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, despite the air conditioning units laboring at full throttle, their vents hissing futilely against the collective body heat radiating from the crowd like a living furnace. Every single seat was filled to bursting, and then some law clerks in their starched white shirts and conservative ties, their legal pads open on knees, pens poised like daggers ready to strike. Conservative activists in red MAGA hats and pro-life warrior pins, clutching rosaries and tiny laminated Bibles, whispering fervent prayers under their breath. Progressive advocates in blue, Equal Rights Now buttons and My Body, My Choice armbands, their faces etched with a mix of defiant hope and weary resolve. And a press corps so dense, so frenzied, that CNN reporters had to share a single folding chair with Reuters correspondents, their laptops balanced precariously on thighs, fingers flying across keyboards in a symphony of clicks as the live stream counter ticked upward like a doomsday clock, surpassing 14.2 million viewers and accelerating toward 15 million in real time. The faint hum of the overhead lights, those massive crystal chandeliers casting prismatic rainbows across the polished oak benches, seemed to underscore the heartbeat of the room, fast, erratic on the edge of arrhythmia. Someone in the third row, a middle-aged pro-life activist with a Choose Life pin glinting on his faded polo shirt, passed out from the heat and tension at exactly 2:49 p.m., his body slumping forward with a sickening thud that echoed off the vaulted ceiling like a warning shot. The bailiff, a burly man with a mustache like a broom, didn't even break stride. He waved over a medic from the back of the hall, who whisked the man out on a stretcher without so much as a pause in the proceedings, the wheels squeaking faintly on the marble as the show, this grand, tragic show, pressed relentlessly on. At the absolute epicenter of this maelstrom, perched on the elevated bench like a sentinel guarding the gates of Olympus, sat Justice Amy Coney Barrett ***, her posture as ramrod straight as a soldier at parade rest, her black robe flowing in immaculate folds over her frame, the white lace collar at her neck a pristine, almost ethereal emblem of the judicial decorum she embodied even in the midst of such chaos. She was 53 years old, a mother of 7 children ranging from toddlers to teenagers, a former Notre Dame law professor who had risen through the ranks with a blend of intellectual rigor and unshakable faith, and the primary author of Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization ***, the landmark 2022 decision that had overturned Roe v. Wade and returned the regulation of abortion to the states, unleashing a torrent of legal, social, and political upheaval that still reverberated across the nation 3 years later. But in the turbulent landscape of 2025, with Trump's second term mired in scandals and legal battles, Barrett had become an unlikely and polarizing lightning rod, hailed as a saint by social conservatives for her role in Dobbs, vilified by liberals as the architect of women's suffering, and now, increasingly, viewed with suspicion by even some on the right who saw her refusal to endorse full federal abortion overreach as a betrayal of the movement she had helped lead. Her face, framed by her signature bob haircut with its subtle highlights catching the light from the chandeliers, showed no visible strain, no crack in the facade, but those who knew her intimately, her law clerks who had served under her for nearly a decade, the fellow justices who had deliberated with her in the private conferences of the East Room, could discern the subtle tension in the set of her jaw, the way her left hand rested on the bench with fingers interlaced but the thumb tapping a silent, rhythmic once-twice pattern against her ring finger, a telltale sign of the storm brewing beneath her calm exterior. This wasn't just another oral argument in the long line of cases that defined the court's docket. This was a siege, a direct assault on the integrity of the judiciary from the executive branch, and Barrett was the frontline defender, the shield between tradition and tyranny. The case that had brought them all together was United States v. Planned Parenthood Federation of America *, a constitutional juggernaut of a challenge that had the entire country holding its breath, a case that pitted the raw power of the presidency against the deliberative might of the judiciary in a battle over the soul of reproductive rights in America. It stemmed directly from Executive Order 14287 *, signed into law by President Donald J. Trump on January 25, 2025, his first full day back in the Oval Office after the bitterly contested 2024 election that had seen him reclaim the White House by the slimmest of margins, amid cries of fraud from one side and celebrations of vindication from the other. The order was nothing short of a bombshell, a seismic shift in policy that declared abortion a national health emergency of unprecedented scale, banning all federal funding, Medicaid, Title X, even emergency grants, to any clinic, hospital, or provider that performed the procedure, regardless of circumstances like rape, incest, or life-threatening complications for the mother. It went further, empowering the Department of Justice to prosecute abortion providers under the *racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations, RICO, statutes as organized criminal enterprises, treating clinics like mob syndicates and doctors like hitmen. Lower courts in California, New York, Illinois, and Massachusetts had struck it down within 48 hours, citing violations of the 10th Amendment, the Spending Clause, and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, labeling it an unconstitutional bill of attainder designed to punish protected speech and medical practice. Now, Trump's handpicked enforcer, Attorney General Pam Bondi ***, the hardline Florida Republican who had risen from state prosecutor to Trump's impeachment defense attorney and now to the most powerful law enforcement position in the country, stood at the petitioner's lectern, her navy blue suit tailored sharp enough to slice through the tension like a knife, her blonde hair pulled back in a severe bun that matched the hard, unyielding lines of her face, her voice dripping with the righteous, unapologetic fury that had propelled her career and made her a terror in courtrooms and a darling on conservative talk radio. Bondi gripped the edges of the lectern with white-knuckled hands, her knuckles pale against the dark wood, her eyes sweeping the bench like a general surveying the battlefield before launching the assault. She launched into her opening argument with the polished, aggressive precision that had made her a staple on Fox News primetime and a nightmare for defendants in Florida's toughest cases, her Florida drawl thick with conviction and laced with the kind of moral absolutism that left no room for compromise or grey areas. Your Honours, this court, in the landmark decision of Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization *, unequivocally returned the profoundly serious question of abortion to the people and their elected representatives at both the state and federal level. The people have spoken, through President Trump's landslide victory in 2024, through the swift enactment of 28 state trigger laws that have saved hundreds of thousands of innocent lives, through the overwhelming majority of Americans who believe life begins at conception and must be protected. Executive Order 14287 is not overreach. It is ** enforcement * of the moral clarity that Dobbs demanded. It protects the unborn from the genocide enabled by rogue sanctuary states like California, New York, and Illinois, states that have turned their clinics into assembly lines of death. Justice Barrett, you wrote the opinion that ended the judicial tyranny of Roe. Surely you see the moral imperative to finish what you started, to ensure that the federal government does not fund or facilitate the murder of the innocent with taxpayer dollars. The gallery erupted * in a cacophony of raw emotion, cheers and applause thundering from the conservative bloc on the right side of the hall, fists pumping in the air as amen, and for the Barbies, rippled through the crowd like a wave, boos and hisses exploding from the progressive section on the left, a woman in the fifth row leaping to her feet shouting hypocrite, murderer. Before a bailiff grabbed her arm and dragged her toward the exit, her heels scraping the marble like nails on a chalkboard. A pro-choice activist in the back hurled a water bottle, it sailed over the railing and splashed across a Heritage Foundation lobbyist's suit, soaking his tie and sparking a shoving match that took 3 bailiffs to break up. Chief Justice John Roberts banged his gavel so hard the handle cracked audibly, the sharp crack echoing off the vaulted ceiling like a rifle shot in a canyon. But the damage was done. The livestream chat was a warzone of all caps. God bless Bondi. Versus BARETT sold US out. 2.4 million comments flooding in 90 seconds, the numbers flashing on a side monitor like a slot machine hitting jackpot after jackpot. Barrett waited for the noise to die down, her expression unchanging, a statue of composure amid the storm, then leaned forward into her microphone, her voice cutting through the din like a scalpel through silk, precise and unyielding. General Bondi, the Dobbs decision, did not grant the executive branch unilateral authority to impose a national abortion regime. It explicitly returned the issue to the states under the principles of federalism and democratic accountability enshrined in the 10th Amendment. Your order cites no congressional statute authorizing such sweeping action, no emergency declaration under the Public Health Service Act that would justify RICO prosecution of licensed medical procedures, and no precedent from this court or any other that supports treating healthcare providers as organized crime syndicates. How precisely does this align with the federalism that this court so carefully affirmed in 2022, a decision that emphasized the democratic process over judicial or executive fiat? Bondi didn't miss a beat, stepping closer to the lectern as if to bridge the gap between bench and floor with sheer force of will, her eyes locking onto Barrett's with the predatory focus of a prosecutor smelling blood in the water. Justice, the states have utterly failed in their post-Dobbs duty. Over 1.2 million abortions have occurred in sanctuary states since the ruling. That's a public health crisis, a moral catastrophe by any reasonable metric, enabled by the very federal funding your order seeks to cut. My office has consulted extensively with stakeholders committed to the protection of life, the March for Life, Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, the Heritage Foundation, the Alliance Defending Freedom, all organizations aligned with this court's vision in Dobbs. We are merely providing the federal backstop that the Constitution demands when states abdicate their responsibility to protect the most vulnerable among us, the unborn children who cannot speak for themselves. The word stakeholders landed in the room like a grenade with the pin pulled, the pin clattering to the floor in slow motion. Barrett's eyes narrowed to slits, the same flicker of recognition and wariness she'd shown in the Bondi hearing a month earlier, a month that felt like a lifetime in the accelerated chaos of Washington. Those same stakeholders had been under relentless FBI scrutiny for 18 months, accused of funneling dark money into judicial perks and luxuries. $50,000 speaking fees at educational retreats, in remote Montana lodges, private jets to Alaska fishing expeditions disguised as constitutional seminars, and, most damning of all, coordinated briefings on Dobbs' implementation strategy with Trump's DOJ, briefings that skirted the edges of ex parte communications and veered straight into ethical quicksand. And Bondi. Her time as Florida AG had been a masterclass in selective enforcement, her office receiving $2.3 million from those very PACs between 2019 and 2023, all perfectly legal under Florida's lax disclosure laws, all omitted from her Senate confirmation packet in 2025, all now fodder for the congressional ethics hounds baying at her heels. Barrett leaned forward further, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper that somehow carried to the back row, amplified by the room's acoustics and the microphones, every syllable landing like a pebble in a still pond, sending ripples through the crowd. General, let's be explicit about those consultations. Your office's financial disclosures, filed with the Florida Ethics Commission and partially redacted, but ultimately obtained through litigation by the ACLU, show $1.8 million in contributions from the Alliance for Life PAC between 2019 and 2023. The same PAC that paid for the 2023 Montana Judicial Retreat, a 3-day event at the exclusive Yellowstone Club in Big Sky, Montana, where you delivered a keynote address titled Enforcing Life After Dobbs, the Federal Role. I was the guest of honor for the closing session. Were those discussions, the ones that shaped the language of your executive order, disclosed to this court before you filed this petition? And did they include any review of the potential conflicts arising from those funding sources? Bondi's smile froze in place, a porcelain mask cracking at the edges, a single bead of sweat tracing a slow path down her temple, catching the light from the chandeliers and glinting like a warning signal. The temperature in the room seemed to spike another 5 degrees, the AC vents hissing in vain as the collective body heat from the crowd pushed the mercury higher. Justice, that retreat was a continuing legal education event, fully compliant with judicial conference guidelines and state bar requirements, standard practice for federal judges and state attorneys general to attend such conferences. No ex parte communications occurred. It was open dialogue on constitutional interpretation, not policy coordination. Open dialogue, Barrett echoed, her tone laced with incredulity that bordered on disdain, her fingers drumming once on the bench, a subtle signal to her clerk to prepare the projector. Because the retreat's full agenda, obtained via a Freedom of Information Act request by The Intercept and litigated for 14 months in the Montana federal courts, lists a closed-door session on October 19, 2023 at 3:00 p.m., strategic alignment on post-Dobbs enforcement, AG Bondi and Justice Barrett. Attendees, exactly 12 individuals, no clerks present, no press allowed, no minutes taken, no recording permitted. What, General, was the precise nature of that alignment discussion, and why was it not disclosed to the public or this court, as required under Canon 4 of the Code of Conduct for United States Judges? The room held its breath, the silence so profound you could hear the faint tick of Robert's watch, the distant honk of a DC taxi on Constitution Avenue. Reporters in the gallery typed like madmen, their keyboards clacking in a frantic rhythm. Then movement, sudden and electric. From the respondents' table, a woman stood, Dr. Elena Marquez **, 42 years old, former Deputy Attorney General for the state of Florida, a tall Latina with sharp features and a scar on her left cheek from a childhood accident, fired in March 2024 after refusing to sign off on Bondi's selective prosecution memos that targeted abortion clinics in Miami, Tampa, and Orlando with RICO charges while ignoring opioid mills in the same districts. She had been Bondi's right hand for 6 years, privy to every backroom deal, every donor call, every whispered promise. Now she was shaking, not from fear, but from the cathartic rage of a woman who had watched her career and conscience be sacrificed on the altar of political ambition. In her right hand, she clutched a sealed manila envelope, its edges worn from months of hiding, stamped with the Florida DOJ seal in embossed red wax that caught the light like blood. In her left hand, she dangled a USB drive on a lanyard that read Truth, * in bold white letters, the cord frayed from constant grip. Your Honor, Marquez said, her voice cracking at first but then steadying into a clear, resonant timbre that filled the hall, projecting to every corner with the authority of someone who had spent a decade in courtrooms. I have the memo, the real memo. From October 17, 2023, the day before the Montana retreat. It's not redacted, it's not forged, it's the original, unedited version. And it has both your signatures, yours and General Bondi's, at the bottom of every page. She walked to the clerk's desk with the deliberate slowness of someone who had rehearsed this moment in her mind 1,000 times over the sleepless nights since her firing, her heels clicking on the marble floor like metronome beats counting down to detonation. The bailiff, a burly man with a mustache like a broom and a face etched with 25 years of courtroom brawls, hesitated for a split second, his eyes flicking to Barrett for approval. She nodded once, and he took the envelope, breaking the seal with a rip that echoed like tearing flesh. The overhead projector, a state-of-the-art 4K laser system installed during the 2024 renovation to handle the surge in livestream demands, hummed to life, its fan whirring softly as the first page filled the massive screen behind the bench in crisp, high-definition detail, the text so sharp it could be read from the back row without squinting. The document appeared like a ghost materializing from the ether. * 3 pages, double-sided, 12-point Arial font, Florida Department of Justice letterhead *, the edges crisp and unmarred, the red confidential stamp bleeding slightly into the paper as if stamped in haste. Page 1 memo header. Florida Department of Justice, Office of the Attorney General *. Memorandum. To * Hun, Amy C. Barrett, Associate Justice, Supreme Court of the United States. From * Hun, Pam Bondi, Attorney General, State of Florida. Subject * Coordination Protocols, Post-Dobbs Federal Enforcement Strategy. Date * October 17, 2023. Classification * Eyes only, do not copy, distribute, or retain beyond 24 hours. Page 1 body full text, unredacted. Per our discussion at the Federalist Society Gala, September 14, 2023, Naples, FL, the Alliance for Life PAC has committed $2.3 million to Florida DOJ rule of law initiatives over the next 3 fiscal years, FY 2024-2026. Funds allocated as follows. $1.02 M for Abortion Enforcement Task Force, personnel, equipment, litigation support. $750 K for judicial outreach programs, conferences, retreats, and amicus brief funding. $350 K for leadership development, PAC contributions to AG campaign, for review. In exchange, we propose the following coordination protocols to ensure seamless implementation of Dobbs. 1 joint strategy session at the Montana Judicial Retreat, October 18-20, 2023, Yellowstone Club, Big Sky, MT, Focus, Federal RICO application to interstate abortion networks. 2 draft model legislation * for congressional use, Federal Abortion Accountability Act, FAA Act, including spending clause conditions on state funding. 3 judicial outreach * to ensure SCOTUS alignment on emergency stays for state trigger laws and potential federal enforcement actions under Commerce Clause. 4. Legacy protection. Ensure Justice Barrett's Dobbs opinion is interpreted as mandating federal intervention when states fail to protect fetal personhood rights. 5. Risk mitigation * route all communications through secure channels, Signal app alias, Montana Coord, destroy copies post-meeting. Your participation ensures maximum impact on national policy and protects against left-wing attacks. Discretion is advised to avoid optics issues with media or ethics watchdogs. Review attached donor ledger and draft EO language for feedback. Page 2, ATTACHMENTS detailed listing. Donor ledger, Alliance for Life PAC Right Arrow Florida DOJ, 2019-2023. *1, 842, 117. 63 * breakdown. $450 K 2019, $620 K 2020, $772 K 2021-2023. Retreat itinerary, full schedule Oct 18, arrival opening prayer, Oct 19, panels on Dobbs in practice, closed session 3:00 p.m. ACB and PB only location, Lodge Conference Room B Big Sky, Oct 20, closing luncheon. Draft Executive Order language, 8 pages, later became EO 14287, * word-for-word match in sections 2, 3 and 5. Declaration of National Health Emergency on Abortion. Handwritten note from Bondi scanned, ACB Let's Make History, for the Children, PB dated 10/15/23. PAC Contribution Matrix, $350 K earmarked for AG leadership, campaign review pending. Page 3, SIGNATUIS and handwritten notes, unredacted. Pam Bondi * approved for discussion and implementation, full alignment on all points, forward to Montana team for logistics. Amy C. Barrett * agreed in principle, points 1-3 for immediate action, 4-5 for further consultation, no public disclosure at this time, review to follow post-retreat. Handwritten in blue ink, initialed ACB below signature, dated 10/17/23. Additional note Barrett handwriting, ensure all channels encrypted, optics critical for Dobbs legacy, Godspeed, ACB. The chamber * imploded * in a symphony of chaos that would echo through history books and viral videos for generations. Screams pierced the air like shrapnel, traitor, from the right, justice. From the left, fists pounded on pews with the rhythm of war drums. A pro-life activist in the third row fainted outright, her body slumping to the floor with a thud that reverberated like a gavel, while a pro-choice protester in the back hurled a half-full water bottle that sailed over the railing and splashed across a Heritage Foundation lobbyist's suit, soaking his tie and sparking a shoving match that took 3 bailiffs to break up, their arms straining against the surge. The Fox News cameraman dropped his $80,000 lens in the melee. It shattered on the marble like crystal, shards skittering across the floor like ice from a broken dam. Bondi * lunged * for the projector remote, her heels clicking like gunshots on the stone, her face a mask of horror as she clawed at the power cord. But it was too late, far too late. The memo was already screenshot, tweeted, memed, and trending worldwide in a digital wildfire that spread faster than any prairie blaze. Bondi Barrett memo exploding to the top of X with 42 million posts in under 10 minutes. TikTok duets racking up 1.8 million views in the first hour. Instagram Reels looping the signature page with dramatic music overlays. And even Snapchat filters turning users into leaked memo ghosts for the night. Trump, ensconced in the opulent gold-trimmed opulence of Mar-a-Lago's private theater room, surrounded by stacks of Diet Coke cans and half-eaten Big Macs cooling on silver platters, watched the feed on a 150-inch screen, his face contorting from shock to rage in slow motion, his small hands balling into fists as he grabbed his phone and hammered out a tweet that would be seen by 120 million followers before the day was out. Fake memo, deep state forgery, Pam Bondi is a hero, Barrett's the real criminal. This is the biggest witch hunt in history. Lock her up, Marga, save the Barbies. But the damage was irreversible, a chasm opening under Bondi's feet that no amount of spin could bridge. Marquez held up the USB drive like a holy relic from a biblical saga, the lanyard cord frayed from months of constant grip in hidden safe houses and anonymous hotel rooms. Your Honor, the original email chain is on this drive, time-stamped to the millisecond, blockchain verified for authenticity, sent from Bondi's official Florida DOJ account Pam Bondi at mifloridigal.com to your chamber's secure server at SCOTUS, Gov on 11:42 p.m. on October 17, 2023. I was CC'd as Deputy AG for review. I have the full thread 47 messages in all, including your reply at 11:59 p.m., proceeding to Montana, signal alias set for secure follow-up. The metadata is intact, IP traces to Bondi's Tallahassee office and your chamber's VPN. Barrett's face for the first time in her entire judicial career a career that had weathered Senate grillings, death threats from both extremes, and the relentless glare of national media, went ashen the blood draining from her cheeks as if a switch had been flipped, her porcelain skin paling to the color of the marble busts lining the hall. She stared at the screen, then at Bondi, then at Marquez, her mind undoubtedly racing through a torrent of memories. The drive to the Yellowstone Club, the crisp autumn air of Big Sky, the closed room with its roaring fireplace and leather armchairs, the quiet conversations over coffee that now felt like conspiracies. The lace collar, once a symbol of her unassailable dignity, suddenly seemed to choke her, the fabric pressing against her throat like a noose tightening in slow motion. Her hands, usually steady as a surgeon's scalpel, the hands that had pennied the words that reshaped American law, trembled visibly as she gripped the edge of the bench, her knuckles paling to bone white under the strain. "General Bondi," she said, her voice barely above a whisper at first, yet amplified by the room's impeccable acoustics and the microphones that captured every syllable for the world to hear. "This memo bears my signature, my actual handwritten initial, ACB in blue ink, dated and everything. If authentic, and the metadata suggests it is, it constitutes a profound breach of Canon 2, on impartiality, Canon 3, on ex parte communications and public comment, and potentially a violation of Article Roman 3 itself, the very foundation of this court's independence. Dr. Marquez, the USB drive has been entered into evidence under seal for immediate forensic analysis. General Bondi, your motion to stay the lower court injunctions is denied with prejudice Executive Order 14,287 is stayed nationwide effective immediately, pending full congressional review, DOJ internal investigation, and potential referral to the Office of Special Counsel. Bondi's knees buckled like a marionette with cut strings, her hands clutching the lectern for support as if it were the only thing keeping her upright in the storm, her face a mask of horror and denial, the color draining from her cheeks to leave her looking like a ghost of her former self. I don't recall signing. It was a draft, a courtesy memo for discussion, nothing more." Barrett cut her off, her voice rising now not in anger, but in a steely resolve that shook the rafters and silenced the room like a thunderclap, her words landing with the weight of precedent. "This is not a draft, General. This is a roadmap to undermine the independence of this court, a blueprint for coordination that skirts every ethical boundary. Effective immediately, and I will repeat this for the record, and for the millions watching. 1. I am recusing myself from all abortion-related cases originating in Florida, and any case involving the Alliance for Life PAC, Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, or the Heritage Foundation donors listed in the ledger. 2. Chief Justice Roberts will reassign all such cases to a special master, appointed by the Judicial Conference to ensure impartiality. 3. The Judicial Conference Ethics Committee will convene an emergency session tomorrow at 9:00 a.m. sharp to review this matter in full, with subpoenas issued to all named parties. 4. General Bondi, you are referred to the Office of Professional Responsibility for potential violations of 28 CFR Section 45.2, and your office's Florida records will be subject to immediate FOIA release. 5. This court will issue a standing order. All future filings involving executive orders on social issues must include full disclosure of stakeholder consultations to prevent any appearance of impropriety. The gavel fell like a gunshot in a library the sharp crack echoing off the vaulted ceiling and marble walls for a full 3 seconds, reverberating in the bones of everyone present, a sound that would be replayed in slow motion on every news network from here to eternity, the wood splintering slightly at the edge from the force of Barrett's strike. The fallout 96 hours of hellfire and brimstone. The explosion was immediate, cataclysmic, a digital and social tsunami that swept across the globe in waves of outrage, celebration and conspiracy. Bondi Barrett Memo rocketed to the top of every trending list on X, TikTok, Instagram, and even Weibo in China, racking up 96 million posts in the first 24 hours alone, with 1 billion impressions by the end of day 1, the numbers flashing on news tickers like a nuclear countdown. The memo itself became an artifact, reprinted on t-shirts sold on Amazon for $19.99, page 3, for the unborn or the donors. Coffee mugs hawked on Etsy with ACB, agreed in principle in red letters, protest signs waving in rallies from DC to Dallas reading, Memogate, Justice or Corruption. And even billboard ads in Times Square and South Beach flashing the signature page with dramatic music overlays on digital screens, turning the document into a cultural icon overnight. Pam Bondi resigned at *3:12 a.m. on August 23, her statement released via a hastily drafted press release from a Marriott in Arlington, citing family health concerns and personal reasons. But the subtext was clear to anyone who had followed her career. The woman who had prosecuted Casey Anthony and defended Trump twice was now a pariah. Her Florida home picketed by both pro-life groups furious at her betrayal and pro-choice activists demanding her prosecution. Her replacement, announced by Trump at a 7 a.m. presser from the Rose Garden, was Matthew Whitaker the former acting AG and Trump loyalist, but even that move backfired when Whitaker's own ethics file surfaced, revealing ties to the same PACs. Trump held a 2-hour Mar-a-Lago press conference on the 23rd, his face a mask of apoplectic rage, his tie askew, his hands gesturing wildly as he screamed into the microphones. This is the biggest witch hunt in American history. Fake memo, deep state forgery. Pam Bondi is a hero, she fought for the Barbies. Barrett's the real criminal, she sold out for the liberals. Impeach her. Impeach the whole court. Lock her up, Marga, drain the swamp again. The rant lasted 118 minutes, interrupted only by a coughing fit that lasted 45 seconds and required a Diet Coke break, and it was viewed by 67 million live, with clips remixed into 1.5 million TikToks by midnight. Trump's witch hunt. Voice synced to cartoon explosions and villain laughs. Barrett's recusal triggered a cascade effect that rippled through the judiciary like a shockwave. Justice Clarence Thomas announced his own recusal from abortion funding cases on the 24th, citing similar review of past affiliations. Justice Samuel Alito followed on the 25th, to avoid any perception. Justice Neil Gorsuch on the 26th, for institutional integrity. By week's end, 5 of the 9 justices had stepped aside, forcing Roberts to appoint a special master pool from retired judges, a move that delayed 47 pending cases and sparked cries of court paralysis from both sides. Congress in a rare moment of bipartisan fury, passed the Judicial Transparency Act of 2025 on August 28 in a landslide 389-46 vote, the bill mandating real-time disclosure of all judicial retreat funding, travel reimbursements, and speaking fees over $100, with penalties up to $500,000 for violations. It was signed by Trump on September 2, but only after he tried to veto it and was overridden, the first override of his second term. Florida opened a criminal probe into Bondi's donor deals on August 24, led by the newly elected Democratic AG, resulting in 17 indictments by December, including 2 PAC executives and a former clerk. Bondi fled to a gated community in Palm Beach, her law license suspended pending review, her net worth plummeting from $8 million to $2.5 million as sponsors bylaid. Abortion clinics across the country reported a 450% surge in donations in the week following the hearing, dubbed the Barrett effect, by the Washington Post with Planned Parenthood alone raising $120 million in 30 days, funds used to expand services in red states and challenge state bans in court. SCOTUS approval rating among independents jumped 22 points to 58%, the highest since the 2001 Bush v. Gore era, while among women, it soared to 67%, a 35-point gain in 6 months. 1 month later, Barrett's private chambers, 11:47 p.m., October 22, 2025. The room was dimly lit by a single desk lamp, its warm glow casting long shadows across the bookshelves lined with leather-bound volumes of constitutional law, biblical commentaries, and family photos, 7 children in various stages of growth, from gap-toothed grins to college caps. Barrett sat at her desk, the memo now framed in black walnut wood a stark reminder hanging on the wall like a scar that had healed but not faded. Her clerk, young Emily Chen, 28, a Harvard law grad and the first Asian American to clerk for her, knocked softly on the doorframe. "Justice, the chief wants to see you in the conference room, and there's a letter from Dr. Marquez, hand-delivered this morning." Barrett opened it with steady hands, the paper crisp under her fingers. "You did the right thing. The unborn deserve justice, but so do the living, the women fighting for their lives every day. Thank you for choosing the Constitution over comfort, over convenience, over the easy path. The Republic is stronger because of you. For the children, all of them. Elena." She folded the letter carefully, slipped it into the pocket of her robe and stood, straightening her collar. The court would never be the same, but neither would she, and that in the end was the victory. Viral clapback vault, final frame. This wasn't just a memo. It was a mirror, reflecting the rot, the resolve, the rebirth. A justice forced to confront her own shadow and emerge unbroken. An AG undone by her own ambition, her legacy reduced to a leaked page. A court that bled publicly, then healed with transparency as its bandage. A nation that watched in horror and awe, and finally saw the machinery behind the robes. Drop a fire if this was the most explosive SCOTUS moment of 2025, or any year. Comment, should Barrett resign or be celebrated as the court's savior? What hidden memo should we unlock next? Viral clapback vault, where the truth doesn't just leak, it floods the system, washing away the corruption 1 page at a time.